We are going to be breaking down today, again, how to scale your international marketing content. So, everyone here in some capacity has used Market Scale Studio. But what I want to do differently today is instead of just walking you through some tools, I want to walk you through an actual practical approach to rethinking how you begin to conceive of and launch international marketing content and how various tools of Market Scale Studios can help make that straightforward and more collaborative for you. A lot of these are new also, so you may not have gotten a full understanding of just how robust they are. So let's go ahead and jump in. Hope you love my posed swag there. I'll bring the Colombia flag a little bit here. I am myself a Spanish speaker. Bienvenidos todos. And so, this hits close to home because I know when I was creating my first Spanish language podcast, even though I'm a native speaker, speaking technical jargon on drone technology is hard. And so there's a lot of prep that you got to do. There's a lot of research you got to do. And so what if that was made easier, especially for folks who you can get someone who's really confident on camera, but they only know one language. You got to lean on one subject matter expert to communicate all the core insights you need for your product launch, right? So let's go ahead and dive in. Again, here's how I took my marketing content international. Okay. So international marketing content, right? This is a common endeavor for most marketing teams today, right? Most content today is not just going to an English speaking audience, but it's going international, right? There's either key stakeholders, key clients, partners, product designers, whole divisions, whole branches, right? East, west, south, north of us that need to hear our message. Okay. That means content for different markets in different languages with different nuances. Now, that lift can feel enormous, right? Let's just contextualize this around one type of content marketing launch here. Let's say the product launch, right? I hope everyone's product launch looks as swaggy as this. Some checkered suits. I would definitely be rocking something like that on the next Market Scale product launch. But regardless, product launches are super familiar. We've got something new. We need to educate our entire market on how to use it and how to integrate it into things like sales, into customer support, right? And especially if you already have an international footprint, that means creating content for not only an American audience, but an APAC audience or an EMEA audience. So we're talking content in German, French, Spanish, Arabic, Russian, Chinese, you name it, right? And that's just scratching the surface. What about Vietnamese? What about your really popular Hungarian base? I'm sure they need to get this content too, right? So where do we go from here, right? Product launches need a lot of content. They need promotional videos, lots of social, okay, sales resources, customer testimonials, C-suite, product designer deep dives, and of course, demos, and more demos, right? Presenting your product to all of these different audiences is a lot. It's a lot, right? And it's a lot even for just an English-speaking audience. You are talking layers of content. Then you got to multiply it and bring it to a ton of different audiences. Okay. So I've laid the stage here. This is familiar. It's a challenge, and it's something that, most good marketing teams can execute on regardless, but maybe it takes 6 months. Or maybe you got to push back the launch because of just how much of a lift it is. Or you got to roll things out in phases. Yeah, we'll get it to the US audience, but Spanish, French, German, Arabic, that's coming, a year down the line because of how much prep we need to do. So what if instead you had tools that help make this easier for you, right? Scaling content for international audiences using Market Scale Studio is truly more straightforward than ever. And I want to emphasize that, and we're going to get in the weeds on how to do this step by step. But leveraging Studio, essentially now, you can take your market's assets and scale them out into an international portfolio. Okay. You can collaborate with international stakeholders on key international content. You can get your best SMEs in front of every audience confidently. You can get your press releases, your LinkedIn posts, your tweets primed in multiple languages, right? Our toolkit helps demystify that and make the international content process less freaky and a little more easy to execute on. Okay. So let's go ahead and go step by step. Some of this is going to feel a little familiar, but I'm going to show you how some of these familiar steps even can be made even more straightforward using Studio. So here's the international content marketing workflow. First, you start with your crowd, right? You identify who you got to bring to the table. Then you got to bring their crowd into your platform, in this case, Studio, to help execute on content. You got to capture your content for one market. Then you translate those videos. Then you translate and collab on the write-ups. You take your content live, and then you continue to engage your communities down the road with these content capture and community engagement tools. So what does this really mean in practice, right? Let's start with your crowd. Why does this matter? Well, it's important to understand who needs to be in front of the camera first to evangelize and announce your new product, right? Everyone that, like, you can do a product demo that's just a cool 3D animated video of a product, right? But nowadays, most people are buying less on the swagger of a device and a little more on the human touch point, right? Who on the other end is convincing me that this is the right decision to make for my company? This partnership makes sense for me. This device is going to make sense for my workflows, right? So you want to put people front and center in your marketing content. Makes sense nowadays. We're in the era of influencers. So who needs to be in front of the camera to evangelize and announce your product, right? Who needs to collaborate on key video and written assets? And who needs to help guide the creative vision? All of that is important to understand before you ever really get started on taking your content international. So this is going to include internal English-speaking SMEs, your international SMEs, perhaps your clients that you got to bring on for testimonials, your C-suite, of course, get a little weight behind that messaging, designers, but then, of course, the whole ecosystem. It's not just a product. It's now an ecosystem of sales support, legal. Make sure you're, not saying something you shouldn't, breaking some kind of NDA or putting your foot in your mouth. Customer support when something goes wrong. Are they prepared to help, regardless of language of who's using the product? So this is why getting your crowd in MarketScale Studio platform is a great first step. Now, this may seem a bit straightforward, right? Get people to use the tool, but why does it really matter for something like this? Well, if you're taking your content international, you need to bring the right people to the table to collaborate on the needed assets for your product launch. Okay, you're going to need the sales team, the customer support team. You're going to need those representatives in different, let's say, international HQ markets to step in and relay some nuances, whether that's tweaking a little LinkedIn post language before it goes live, or saying, hey, I know you use that one word for tech in Spanish, but colloquially it sounds really robotic. You should use this word instead, right? Studio is that table, right? So you want to bring people around the collaborative content table to execute on an international product launch. So we make it easy, first and foremost, to bring folks into the platform. You can add them via email, you can upload a CSV, or it can be for specific content requests. And while this may seem a little redundant, this is important because you can bring people to the table who are specifically just for this. You could bring, for example, VIP guest pass users who are only external to step in and collaborate on a piece of content. You can invite them as a limited user. They only see the content they've been invited to participate on. Nice and focused, decluttered, right? Or maybe this is that time when finally you get your sales team involved in the content creation process. Instead of them downstream, you create a whole suite of PDFs and, okay, ready to sell. And then they say, this is useless for me. Now you got to start from scratch. What if you were able to bring them to the table early to collaborate on that content, including your sales team in Germany and your sales team in China, et cetera, right? So this is important. Get your folks in there because there's a lot of new tools and features that you're going to want their perspectives on. This includes things like AI Writer and Docs, which I'll break down here in a second, as well as continued use tools to further evangelize your products post-launch, to help do podcasts, for example, to help collaborate on editing and proofing, to self-record content, to request content via one link to send to all of your customers for a selfie recorded video of them using the tool and then uploading it into the platform for you to create a montage video, for example. All of that's made simple with the tool. So it's important to get the right people in who are going to help carry that mission forward, right? So this is, of course, key when you're dealing with an international audience as well. And the power of international stakeholders collaborating on executing international content marketing can't be understated. I'm about to show you some of the ways to do this. So let's get your content captured. That's the next key step, obviously. What you capture is obviously up to you. Each demo is going to be a little different. Each product announcement is different. Depends on your audience, what they want to see, what's going to get them hype. But what you really need is decentralized simplicity in capturing that content. And there's one type of content capture that everyone can relate to as incredibly difficult to pull off, hefty, weighty, but it's key, right? High quality, cinematic, hype inducing on site video. You're showing off the factory, you're showing off the product, you're doing the testimonial, right? You've got someone in the studio and they're demoing the use of the product. Whatever it is, getting your content captured likely is going to include some kind of high quality on-site video for your product launch. We now have a new tool in studio where you, instead of having to coordinate with a bunch of different parties, take things offline in a bunch of different platforms, try to align on schedules, Google Calendar this, Asana that, email here, you can now book a worldwide shoot anywhere in the world, essentially with a click, all baked into the platform. So you can control your content creation process in one hub. And the right people can book and collaborate on those key essentials, like pre-production for something so important like an on-site shoot, right? So this means, right, you're filming a new HQ down the street in Seattle, or you've got a new use case for your product in Seoul that you really want to capture. Or you've got a client testimonial in Beijing. Maybe you've got an SME who you've got to interview in Berlin. Regardless, at no extra cost, you book easily in platform. So how does this work? Up at the top of the platform, there's that new on-site video button. All of you have access to this. You can click it, and it's that straightforward as choose what kind of production you're doing, right? Is this an on-site, like a testimonial? Is this a product demo? Is this a facility tour? Is this a podcast on site? You book it like you book Uber. Seriously, that's straightforward. You type in your deets. We then do the back-end videographer matching with our network of hundreds of worldwide videographers. We streamline the pre-pro for you so you can collaborate on the needed documentation, dates, timing, nuances of where to park. I mean, all the basics. Now, focused in studio, and now you can relax and day of execute on a perfect shoot. So it could be literally, again, in Seattle here. You can get some drone footage, right? Here's what the page looks like. There's a drop down there where you choose product video, you choose testimonial, etc. Or it could be international. It could be in Shanghai, China, right? You're getting some photography as well. You can drop directions and notes there. This is all now streamlined. So take that lift off your shoulders, lean on this tool to make the process of just getting it on the calendar easy. Now you can focus on the fun part, the actual content, what you want to capture, and making it more creative. Here's what it looks like when you confirm someone. We've got Jesper there going to film at Verizon Corporate, right? Videographer matched. Now you can relax. If you got questions, reach out to your point of contact at Market Scale. But otherwise, we're booking, we're cooking, and now you can focus on creating good content. So on-site video booking, that's key for any kind of product launch. But then long-term, there's other content you're going to want to capture, and these tools in platform. That's why I said get your folks in the platform, because there's tools that they can leverage long-term to continue to evangelize a product launch, right? And you can honestly include this in your initial launch. So let's say you want to have a podcast episode, right? You can use conversation rooms there to capture key SMEs or CEOs, sit down easily, high quality, record and execute on a podcast episode. Or you could send out, for example, one link for a mass upload of testimonial content, or, what I'm most excited about for the product from your whole team, all baked into the platform, easy, straightforward. So again, go beyond the on-site video booking, because any good product launch is going to have a lot of different types of video, not just one big cinematic banger. But the cinematic banger matters, right? You want that one to go off without a hitch. So now you can do so more confidently. Okay, next step, right? Here's where the magic really gets, pretty mind-blowing. Get your video translated. So you're thinking, okay, I have to film for my English-speaking audience. Where do I then start? Do I have to start from literal scratch if I now want to take all of this to my German audience, right? What about if I need to interview my German SME, who's the product designer, but I need to present that to my English speaking audience? Okay. He doesn't speak English. It's broken. It's clunky. Subtitles suck. Traditional dubbing is really pulls you out of the video. It looks tacky. What do we do? Right? Do we just deal with it? No, you don't just deal with it. You get it translated easily with one click. This is a new feature we have in Studio. Any video, with one click, you can request an AI-powered translation that not only translates the script of what they're saying, but it matches the intonation of their voice with AI in the new language and matches their lips, their literal movement, to make it look like they are speaking the other language. It sounds a bit fantastical and kind of, oh, I bet that's, yeah, whatever. It's kind of clunky. I'm about to show you some examples that will, I think, really excite you. You can get your video translated into about 30 different languages, right? Dubbed and AI matched. So let's say you lean on one core SME, you can now have them capture any core insights, demonstrations of the product, and then take that great insight and translate it into several different languages. So let's jump in here, right? This could be a 2-minute video. You could do it for a 45-minute video. Regardless, it's going to be equally as crisp and powerful. So check this out. All right, we're going to do some examples here now. So here is our on-site video booking, or actually, no, our AI translation tool announcement. Okay, here it is in English. I'm not going to play the whole thing, just so you get a taste for what the OG video sounds like.
Welcome to the future of B2B media production with MarketScale Studio's latest innovation, on-site video booking.
So, okay,
remember how the world changed when
straightforward, right? Nice kind of product launch style video. Okay, now what if that was
to the future
in
of B2B
Chinese?
欢迎来到企业对企业媒体制作的未来，市场规模工作是最新创新，现场视频预定。还记得当有不和 IB
Right? What if that was in, for example, Arabic?
مرحبا بكم في مستقبل إنتاج الوسائط بين الشركات مع أحدث ابتكارات استوديو ماركت سكيل. حجز الفيديو في الموقع. تذكر كيف تغير العالم عندما جعل.
Right? What if that was in ROG? ¿Qué tal si eso estuvo en español?
Bienvenido al futuro de la producción de medios B2B con la última innovación de Studio Market Scale, la reserva de video en el sitio. ¿Recuerdas cómo cambió el mundo cuando plataformas como Uber y Airbnb?
So, powerful, right? Abhishek, feel free. Yeah, I see you got a question there.
Hey, thanks, Daniel. So, quick question. Does this video translation work for podcasts as well?
Absolutely. I'm about to show you another example here of multiple speakers and it capturing their voices and matching their lips. Obviously, if it's audio only, even easier. No need to do the lip match, right?
Yeah.
But if you've got a video podcast, which most podcasts nowadays are consumed as video, or they're consumed, honestly, as like 60-second snippets on TikTok Reels or on TikTok or Instagram Reels, right? Yes, very possible. So again, super seamless translation of content. Lean on one good SME, one solid product launch video, and get it translated into every core language confidently, right? Okay, now here is like a more simple video, right? What if your CEO needs to get on and say to the whole company, guys, I am so excited for this new product launch. Here's why. You want to keep it personal, but you want the CEO.
This is John Baer, Director of Platform Engagement.
Speaking to multiple audiences.
I wanted to tell a story about my...
Thank you, John. We won't listen to the whole story. I'm sorry, John.
Daniel, just a quick question.
Here is John Baer.
Wait, was John more serious on the right video because it's a German flag?
Yeah. Yeah, just... all German content is just going to be really stiff and angry.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, check out how smooth this is.
Engagement bei MarketScale. Ich wollte eine Geschichte über meine erste Verbraucher-Elektronikmesse erzählen. Ich war zum ersten Mal auf der
So again, it could be really simple content, right? Now here's a podcast example, for example.
Why? Why bother? Why bother setting goals for your promotional review team? I think, you talked about at the beginning, some of those maybe warm, fuzzy feelings that you can get from setting goals, but talk to
actually get in there and say, you know what? We goals in and get the numbers in.
Okay, now here's that in French.
Pourquoi s'embêter à fixer des objectifs pour votre équipe d'examen de contenu promotionnel? Je pense.
Vous savez quoi? Nous avons fait notre travail. Nous avons en quelque sorte examiné cela. Peut-être que c'est obtenir les données et définir des temps cibles.
Right, so one video, multiple speakers, it's going to execute at the same quality. It's going to be able to detect different voices, different people, match their lips, no weirdness. So you can confidently edit your whole podcast first, get the final piece ready to go to humanize, the behind the scenes of your product launch, and then boom, get it translated into French, easy peasy, no need for subtitles. And this is just another example of like a graphics heavy video.
Industrial and commercial sites, mostly for development or environmental
Right, some different camera shots.
Do a lot of,
Now here's the alternative in German.
Ich bin Vermesser bei Langen Ingenieurwesen. Ich bin der Projektleiter, der für alle Drohnen- und LiDAR-Projekte verantwortlich ist. Einige unserer Projekte betreffen Industrie.
So it doesn't just have to be straight on content for it to be clean. You can be posed differently. You can have multiple camera shots. It can be a really engaging 60-minute style cinematic piece of content that puts your SME front and center, right? And it'll still translate it easily for you. So that's a huge new feature. Oh, yeah, we've got a question here from Allison. What's up?
Hey, yeah. Really interesting feature. Does it also have capabilities to capture a transcript for subtitles in various languages, just for the accessibility
Absolutely.
aspect?
Absolutely. Maybe you were reading my mind, or you somehow hacked my computer, because that is literally the next slide. So
Perfect. Thank you.
now, right, get your written copy created and then get it translated, right? That's the next step here. You got your video, you get it into German, but now what about all the LinkedIn and tweets, et cetera, et cetera? So every piece of media in MarketScale Studio generates a transcript. That is just a baked-in aspect of getting to work with Studio. Your content's going to get a transcript. Okay, so here it is in English. Now we have new features in the platform called AI Writer and Collaborative Docs, which essentially are, think of a localized first-party data version of the highest version of ChatGPT and Google Docs, but powered by the insights from the transcript of the video and bubbled to not feed all that information off to some cloud, but rather kept local to that one video, right? To avoid things like hallucinations, keep it confident, keep it subject matter focused. So you can use this tool now to take the transcript from your video and quickly generate, whether it's a first draft, whether it's a full post, a useful secondary piece of content, the written content that's going to supplement your product launch. So it could be a press release, right? Boom. Could be a tweet. Boom. Could be something actually more unique. You can type in your own prompt. I want a bulleted list of the 5 most exciting features. I want them to be useful and relevant, and I want it to focus in on why these are useful for B2B companies. Boom. Right? Then you can iterate on this just like any other GPT. You'd go in, you type in, please make this shorter, or, I want this tone to be a little bit more playful, whatever it might be. So generate your content and then send it collaboratively to docs. I think this is honestly the even more exciting feature here. The AI writer is great. It gets you those first drafts. Now bringing everyone to the table, including international stakeholders, to collaborate on content, to support your product launches, is where I think the magic really shines. So this tweet, right, you could send it to docs here. All generated content you can send to the collaborative docs part of your media studio per video. I went ahead and used this longer press release. So now the press release, right? You've got this now in docs. This is now an editable collaborative doc within Studio like Google Docs. You could have 10 people on there at once, leaving notes, making changes in real time, collaborating on this piece of content. Okay. So for example, you could also translate this whole thing. I'm going to highlight the whole thing. I'm going to choose translate. I'm going to pick a language. Let's say Spanish, right? Now here it is in Spanish. Accurate Spanish, grammatically correct. You've got the accents. My mother would be proud. And boom, you've got now a confident press release. But let's say it's a little stiff. You want to lighten it up, right? There are other ways that you can now leverage AI tools or collaborate to get this written content to where you need it to be. Again, all localized per video within the platforms. You don't got to be bouncing between, hey, did you check the note I left in Google Docs? Oh, yeah. Okay, let me go. Hey, did you check the note I left on the Premiere project file with the note here? Okay, yeah. So no, all kept local, right, to one project. So for example, here's an example of my colleague Ben Thomas in here with me. You can see down here 2 users online, right? I'm working down here, but he's highlighting this and making changes. Collaborative in real time. You can do other things too, like I can ask AI to help make this shorter, summarize it, continue writing if I like where it was going, but I want a little more flavor there. You can change the tone, fix spelling and grammar, etc. Right? But then I think the more sort of feedback-focused collaborative portion is the notes. So you could highlight something and here, leave comment. You could leave a comment here, right? Well, here I'm talking about, I hate when GPT uses the word burgeoning or delve. Those two are brutal. So I never want to see the word delve or burgeoning ever again. Please get rid of that language. And I want some specifics from the interview or something, right? But what you could do here is you could translate your whole document into Spanish, bring your SMEs into the platform and say, please review this. Leave some notes where you think the language could be a little more spot on technically. Or, yeah, this is kind of like Spain Spanish, but we need a little bit of that chévere, that Colombian Spanish, you know? I want that swagger there that's going to relay to the other, specific region. They can come in, leave a note there, right? Andrea, I see you've got a question there. What's up?
On that note, is the audio for Spanish only Spain dialect, or do you have like Latin American dialects and those
Yes.
Spanish translated?
So I'm pretty sure there are different dialects, and I think that'd be something that as you request, you'd leave a note on the dialect you're looking for. I'll get that. I'll clarify that for you here after the call. But yes, at the very least, there are a lot of other collaborative features to help bring those regional leaders in to help give that kind of feedback and help say, yeah, this is kind of speaking to the Chileans, but like I want this to reach the Argentinians. So, it's crazy how different even just going across the border. Wow, it sounds like you're speaking a different language. So, yeah, it's pretty great. So again, you have all these features baked into Studio. They make collaborating on content internationally easy. That's why I said get your folks in the platform early, because then you can have everyone working around the needed workflow for y'all, the marketing leaders, right? Y'all are leading on these projects. You have your deadlines, and the last thing you need is, hey, did you see my email 2 weeks ago to tweak the language on this Chinese press release? No, sorry. Okay, all of that needs to be streamlined into a workflow that is content forward and that puts the power in y'all's hand while also decentralizing a bit to let needed folks come in and come out into one hub, and you don't got to be compiling notes and assets across a bunch of different platforms. Then you take your content live, right? This is pretty straightforward. Wherever you want to release, you release your content. But now you've been able to prepare assets for multiple regions all at once. You can take them live in one fell swoop. And every market can now have that hype and energy without the delay of, we got it to the American audience, but it's going to take another 3 weeks for the French, and then the Chinese, and then the German, et cetera, et cetera. And then beyond that is the fun part of engaging your communities. You now have these stakeholders in Market Scale Studio. They've collaborated on content. They better understand what role they can play in executing on content, regardless of if this was an external collaborator, let's say a client for a testimonial, or if it's your sales lead or your engineer. They all have the ability to jump in there and use these tools, right? Even the lowest, like the lowest tier of access still has access to all these tools. So they can get in there and record content themselves. They can record a podcast for you. They can send their own requests out. So, a client point of contact can generate a media request for their team, right? Decentralize the capture of content that's going to help you evangelize your product, get new voices out there speaking for your product. And again, bringing folks back to the table to help you generate a quick tweet or collaborate on that press release or blog post or podcast summary, right? And that's basically it here. A step-by-step breakdown for how Studio is helping transform and make more straightforward the entire go-to-market process for some content marketing and taking it international. So I'll stop there, open it up for some Q&As. Anything that we didn't touch on that you have questions on, that you'll want to brainstorm, get your wheels turning on? I'll pound a Red Bull in anticipation.
Hey, Daniel, it's JW.
Hey, man.
Just a quick question. Would we completely break the system if we had interviews with bilingual educators that were mostly in English, but code switch between English and Spanish in the same interview?
Interesting. If you were taking all of that and saying, I would like all of that to be German, it can do that because the AI, really what it's detecting is the source language. It can switch what it's detecting. You know what I mean? So yes, that is possible. No, it will not break the system.
If we said do that in Spanish, it wouldn't do the English and Spanish, but then the Spanish and English. And I think that's fine. But
correct.
I like to test the waters. So, okay,
yeah,
cool.
Well, no, but yes, some of that honestly is probably good too, to like play around to see where it does have some limits. I mean, knowing none of these tools are, godsend silver bullets. Obviously, there will be some limits to this. Like, for example, there was an example of someone who was like, the camera was really blurry. They filmed on like a webcam and they were doing a product demo. And so when the video's really low quality, the AI struggles sometimes to match perfectly, right? So yes, there are some use cases where it may not be 100% perfect, but for the majority of use cases, especially for something high end, or even like a podcast, it should be able to cover you.
Awesome. And technical question, because we're a little different than the international market. We're marketing to people that speak multiple languages within the U.S. education system, mostly parents.
Right.
So if we recorded a welcome video for parents, could we put it in all 30 languages, or do we have to upload it 30 times and request each language separately?
So you can request, you would have to request it multiple times, but you don't have to re-upload it 30 times. You can, from the same initial video, just go back in and request another translation and request another translation.
Cool.
There are some of those like quality of life things that we're also taking feedback on and improving. So like if you wanted to just do one bulk of 30, right? I think down the line we may be able to implement that. I think we're also just trying to like make sure our own pipeline doesn't get clogged and hold everyone up, because everyone's like, yeah, I just want all 30, boom, right? And now we have like 7,000 videos we have to make immediately. That's a more like, peek into the kitchen vibe. But no, yeah. Feel free to test the limits of the tool, get in there, get your content translated. We'll get it done for you. And obviously we'll continue to tweak it where needed.
Last comment. I would love for you and Andrea from my team to do a podcast in Spanish and have the AI turn it to English just to like hear the quality.
Yes. I've been meaning to do that. I want to keep leveling up this presentation to have more examples like that. So, Andrea, lo debemos hacer.
Lo hacemos.
Ok, súper.
¿Cuándo?
Ok, genial. Te mando un invite por Outlook.
Perfecto.
Awesome. Any other questions? Feeling good?
Yeah, good stuff, Daniel. Can't wait to try it out.
Awesome, man. Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we're
hopefully
spinning over here. We're already chatting about what we can do on our side.
awesome. That's powerful. Well, cool. That's my main goal here. Hopefully you walk away from this feeling like you're more empowered to jump in there and play with these tools yourself and see where you want to make the best use of this. And I challenge y'all too to think even beyond content marketing, just how you can leverage these tools to help you engage with your international communities. Like, for example, sometimes I'll record a meeting, like audio file on my phone, and I'll upload it, and I'll ask the AI writer, please give me like the top 10 things I need to do, action items to execute on this creative project. So think about these as workflow tools as well. And think about the power of how you could then take that and then translate it into Spanish and send it to your Spanish language teammates. Or just say, hey, here's the meeting we just had. Top 10 action items I'm working on. Mira, aquí están, las cosas que yo voy a hacer. Ahora están listas para que tú también puedas ayudar. If you didn't get that, here's the stuff so you can help execute on it too. Right? So again, they're great for content marketing. Obviously, get in there and get some cool translated content, but start to experiment and broaden your horizons too on the workflows that these kinds of tools can enable, because really the ceiling is very high, kind of limitless there. So have fun with it, team.
Thanks,
all right.
man. See you.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your week and evening, and we'll be back next week with more training. So check out the webinars page, sign up, and if you like what you saw here, we're going to keep getting actionable. We're going to keep building out resources for y'all to feel more comfortable and powerful using these tools. So lots to come.
Thanks, Daniel.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, everyone. Boom. Have a good one.